of civilization. I think you know where the Sphinx is, but it sits on the edge of the Sahara Desert. It's carved from the bedrock limestone, and it sits below ground level. This is me at the paws of the Sphinx. And it's located east of the Khafra or Chephren Pyramid, and it faces due east to the rising sun. Here you can see the Sphinx circled. This is the Great Pyramid, Second Pyramid, Third Pyramid. And when they carved the Sphinx, they carved the Sphinx from the bedrock. They removed huge blocks and built what is known as the Sphinx Temple. So when you go there now, you still see the Pyramid of Khafra, Chephren, Sphinx, and this is the Sphinx Temple. This is known as the Valley Temple. Both of these temples were built from blocks that came out of the Sphinx enclosure. Here's the Sphinx Temple, and there's a person for scale. You can see how huge these blocks are, limestone blocks. Now, I'm a geologist, and what I studied, these are people for scale. You can see how the Sphinx was carved out of the bedrock, and I studied initially the weathering, the erosion on the Sphinx and on the walls of the Sphinx enclosure. And what I found very early on is that you look at this weathering and erosion, this was caused by rain, by water coming down, not what you expect in a desert condition. So this said to me right away as a geologist that there was something wrong here with the dating. That the dating had to go back to a period when it was pre-Sahara. Here you can see diagrammatically what you get with the rain erosion versus the wind erosion. There are layers of rock, and in both cases it takes out the softer layers, but with a very different style, a very different weathering pattern. Here we can see real photographs. This is the Sphinx enclosure. This is the wall of the Sphinx enclosure. This is wind erosion on the Giza Plateau of Old Kingdom structures that, according to Egyptologists, are approximately within a century or two the same age as this. But this doesn't make sense geologically. This has to be older to earlier climatic period.